Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Retro Thomas, and this is my game dev journal video number 15. So it's been a week since the last video, and I actually was working pretty hard, and I did some pretty cool stuff. Just to recap, I think last time I had showed how you can shoot projectiles at this point with my game, and that you can actually place enemies also. So you can place the enemies, they pick random destinations, they run around, and I can shoot and kill them, like Atari style. No fancy death effects or anything yet, but of course this is placeholder art, which I'm starting to get pretty tired of looking at. I also came up with a map manager class that will manage map elements. So instead of a single hard-coded crate object, disregard that black thing, I'll explain that later. Instead of a single hard-coded crate object that I can click on and drag around all over the screen, I can actually place and remove these, however many I want, and I'll be using this map manager to load and save maps and edit maps and handle all the map related stuff like scrolling, everything like that. So the map manager is something new that I added. I also added the ability to, well, I started to implement a cover system. What I want to do is have a game like Gears of War or Splinter Cell Conviction, in the sense that you can take cover up against an object and then you'll be popping in and out of cover to shoot bad guys who will also be doing the same. So on the little screen here, you'll have a bit of a tactical shooter where you can move around and gain different positions and have some ideas for interesting game mechanics based off of that. Anyway, what I wanted to do is make it so that when you put the cursor near an object that you can take cover on, such as this crate on the left here, you'll see a little display pop up that'll show you, this is like terrible placeholder art that the wife was kind enough to do for me. This guy's supposed to be laying down on the ground. So anyway, this thing will pop up and show you where the player character is going to be taking cover. So you can see that whichever side of this box that I put the cursor closest to, it gives me an example of where the player will take cover. The way I want to use this is when the final art is in place, it'll actually show the character taking cover in that position, and it'll be like grayed out or whatever. So then you can see where your character will move to. All you'll have to do is click and the character will move and take cover exactly as shown by this preview image. The thing right now is the player doesn't actually go to that position and go into like some take cover state. All I did, I worked pretty hard the last 2 days to get this implemented, and you can this will preview where the player is going to go to take cover. The next thing to do is going to be get that to actually get the player to go and take cover in that position. I want it to actually work so you can do like point-to-point travel. So say I was going to click right in this spot to take cover, I'd want the player to like jump and slide over the crate and land in that position, so you actually have a lot of freedom of movement instead of having to do like this nonsense clicking to, you know, walk around stuff. So that's going to be the next thing to do. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I've sort of been thinking out loud and making some posts about like how am I going to set this up. It's going to be an interesting problem to solve, and it was. What I had to do is I had to use my map manager class to test all of these elements on the screen, and then I had to pick the one that was the most appropriate to show this display. I mean, I'm not going to go show it on 2 of these crates at the same time, because how is the player going to know where they're going to go? So it doesn't make any sense. So it looks at all the elements on the screen, it finds the one that has the most overlap. So there's actually a box. It looks like this, but it's invisible. There's a bounding box around the cursor the size of this player sprite. It matches the player's bounding box. So whichever one is most overlapped by that invisible box around the cursor is the object that's going to, you know, win the contest and be able to be the one that's going to have the player take cover on it. So right here, like the bounding box would actually be overlaying 2 of these crates, and it's picking the bottom right crate because that one has the most overlap with this invisible bounding box. So we check all the crates on the screen, we pick the single map element, or crate in this case, that is the most appropriate for taking cover, judging by which one has the most overlap with that bounding box. Then once the object is selected, like this will be the object that we're going to use for taking cover, it's going to pick which of the sides of this object is closest to the cursor. Then all it does is calculates the coordinates for, you know, where it's appropriate, so it doesn't actually penetrate this object, but picks cover along the side. So I don't know if that'll make sense for you, but it makes sense to me, and that's how I actually arrived at this solution. I'd be interested to see what other people would have done, you know, given the same circumstance. And I'm trying to make this game really simple because I want to be able to actually finish a game. And as many people know who have been in a position like mine, you know, overestimating what you're going to be able to do for your first project is pretty common. So I'm making something very simple and straightforward so that I'll actually be able to finish it. So, it's just going to be, objects with 4 sides, and you'll be able to take cover on one of those sides. It should work pretty well, and I'm pretty excited about it. So that's what I did in the last week or so. I updated the map manager and added this basic cover system. Otherwise, things are going really well. I think since whenever it was I started working on this, I haven't missed a day of sitting down and doing at least something. So, and I'm still very motivated, and I'm really excited to hopefully finish this someday. On a personal note, I feel like if I'm going to do anything that's going to make a difference in the lives of other people, it's going to be this. I've tried a lot of different things in my time, as it were, and games is the thing I'm pretty much most passionate about in life. And this is the thing that if I'm going to make a difference, for anybody else and contribute something meaningful that I feel strongly about to their existence, it's going to be that I made a game that they loved. So it may sound lame, but that's the conclusion I came to, and that realization is really helping to motivate me to realize, this is the thing for me to do, and this is what I'm going to do. So I've been working really hard with that in mind, and I'm really excited about how everything's going. So thank you for watching once again. If you have any helpful, inspiring comments or any questions that you want me to answer, go ahead and just leave me a comment. I have links below this video to my Tumblr blog, which I don't update too often, and to Twitter, which I update like every day. And I talk to a couple of friends about how this is going, and people ask me questions and whatever. So go ahead and get in touch through Twitter. My name is Retro Thomas on Twitter, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.